Welcome to Harrier Scale Modelling. This is part 4 of the Hawker Siddeley GR3 build, scale 1 to 4 from Airfix. And this part is the final part of the build. So I'm going to be dealing with painting, putting on the decals and finishing off the model. So there's no time like the present, let's jump into it. So to start with, I'm building up the landing gear here, and it's a simple system that Airfix has got in place for this. The majority of the wheel struts are getting painted in Umbro 127 US Coast Grey. So as I said on the other wheels, these wheels are made up with rubber, so there's no need to paint them. Just taking out the little support insets here before putting them on. And putting in the centre parts, just glue one side and then push in the other part, if you don't drop it like I just did, and to secure it. There you go. And once that's in, just hook it onto the pins, and that will be the assembly part complete. But instead of painting, you have a decal option. So I'm using the red bottle, there we go. And just placing it on the lip brow before I place in the decal. And then once the decal dries for the front section of the landing gear, it's just a matter of pushing it onto the points. You can glue it if you don't want it to be free moving, but I wanted them to be free moving, so I just pushed them on. Next is the air brake. It goes behind the wheels. You have two options here. You can have it in the open position or closed position. Just bear in mind which one you want to do before you start assembling, because there's a sort of ratchet part on this where you can have it up and down, and it's a similar construction for the forward wheels covering as well. There's a little flap that can move up and down. And once it was assembled, I painted the underside in Umbro 196 light grey. And once it was dry, I flipped it over, and I'm painting this in Umbro's 164 dark sea grey. This, as I said before, is going to be the main grey colour on the aircraft. Next is to put in the landing gear. Now there's two little recess points just inside the bay to put them in, so you have to push it in and pull it back up to lock them into position. The front location points are slightly different. There's a longer recess that you push in along the aircraft and to get the position that you want. The reason for this is the wheel has a suspension spring, as you see here, to go up and down depending on what configuration you want it. Next is the air brake, and that just goes in behind the covers for the landing gear. And then it's the coverings for the gear for the wing supports, and they just lie on top of your struts. There is a location points for you to guide yourself in, so it's all self-explanatory. And then it's the front landing bay coverings for the end. This is the one with the little option for the bracket to go up and down. For the weapons, depending on what weapons you want to put on, the inside of these is getting painted in Umbro number 56 aluminium, and as I said, it depends on what weapons you want and what paint's got to be used. Before I do the assembly, I'm just going to be painting these on the sprue. So this is Umbro 163 dark green for the main outer parts of the weapons that I'm putting on, and it's the same for the release mechanisms as well. For the tips of this multiple missile launcher, I'm painting these in Tamiya's X10 gunmetal, and they had various options what colour to paint it. The instructions were calling black, but I decided to go the gunmetal look. The tip of these colours are getting painted in 93 Desert Yellow by Umbro, and it's just a little block of sandy yellow at the top. It's time to paint the model in its base colour now. So the first colour I'm putting down is 164 Dark Sea Grey, and this will be for all over the model. Once it's painted and thoroughly dried, I'm placing on the holders for the weapon system now. The first two to go on, and while I'm waiting on that drying, I take an opportunity to assemble the weapons. So it's 5 I'm putting in all together. I'm putting on 3 cluster bombs and 2 multi-missile launchers. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to paint the top side of the aircraft now, and again I'm painting that in Umbro 164 Dark Sea Grey. So back to the weapons, and just put a ring of masking tape around the tape, and I'm painting this in Umbro 53 gunmetal. Now this is a lighter shade of gunmetal compared to the Tamiya one, so I wanted a contrast, so that's why I'm using the 2 different colours. There's 2 blocks that have to be painted on the tail fin here, so that's 93 Desert Yellow. And time to put on some decals onto the weapons. Well, this is the holding brackets that hold the missiles and so forth, so I'm just putting on the warning labels, and now I can put on the rest of the decals for the missiles and bombs. There's 1 or 2 decals to put on. Just be careful that you're putting on the right ones for each weapon, because there is multiple options here. You don't want to put the wrong ones on. Time to get ready for painting the camouflage colour now. So I'm using Panzer Putty here. I'm just taking it, rolling it into a softer shape, and then wrapping it around the model. Acts as a masking tape and barrier. And once I've done all the markings, I'm painting it in 163 Dark Green by Umbro. So all the areas where I've marked off is just getting painted in this contrast camouflage colour. Try and put a light coat on and build up your levels. You don't want to put too thick a coat on this as you're doing it. So just making up the rest of the brackets now that the decals are dry for the weapon system. And then once they're dry, it's time to place them on. Now there's no any real location points for these, so I had to place them on by eye. I didn't realise that at the time, or I would have put some location points. And then once they're on, it's time to put on the weapons, and they just get placed on top. So it's back to the top of the model now, and I'm putting in all the little bits that are left off, so all the little aerials and airfoils and so forth are going on now. As I was putting things on, I managed to snap the probe that goes in the front. So a cocktail stick was the perfect diameter for it. So I just cut it to size and pointed out the base to fit into the hole. Then that was painted in Umbro 164 Dark Sea Grey for the base, and then for the tip I painted it in Revel 90 Silver. And once it was all painted, I was able, just so you can see it there, before I painted it. It's quite a good fit. There's a clear crisp part here, and that's getting painted in X27 Clear Red by Tamiya, and that just goes up on the top. But while that part's drying, I'm going to take off the masking on the canopy now. So I'm just using a pair of tweezers to gently pull off the tape. If you do get any paint bleed, just rub it off with a cocktail stick and that will come off. And the last thing to be placed on is the part that goes next to this mask, and that's the little crystal clear part that I painted red. So last thing in the evening, I gave the model a coat of varnish, Pledge Clear. It's all nice and dry for the morning, and now I'm just cutting out the decals before I place them on. So what I do is I cut these out individually, then number the backing paper to whatever corresponding number it is. So once I've cut them all out and numbered them, I lay them out, and then I know exactly where the decals are. I don't have to go around hunting for them. So I'll put all these on now. I'll fast forward this process up. And all the bottom's done. I'll start on the top main ones. Now I did have a problem. Before I cut the decals out, I managed to spill my solution over the decal sheet. Hence why you don't see it there. And I completely ruined them. Now I did save some. Look, the main ones were on okay, as you can see there, but all the little intricate ones are all gone. So I'm just been on the last few of the side ones that I've got left, and now I'm starting on the top decals. As the last decals are going on, I'm going to bring this build to an end. A lot of people do have a problem with the 124 Airfix series. This is the second one I built. I built the Spitfire before this, and of course I've done the Typhoon, which is the newer one. The only problem I've had with this kit is some of the parts were loose in the box, so I had to match them up with the pictures and whatever, and that's not a major drama. The only other thing is the older kits, their numbering system on the sprue is a bit left to be desired, so you're always hunting for the part. But apart from that, the kit went together really well. So for now, I'll call it a day. If you've got a chance, why don't you look at my other builds, leave comments, suggestions, whatever you like really. Look out for my next build. So for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.